Do you think macabre scientific experiments are just something from horror movies? Then hold on to that idea, because what you're about to hear didn't come from Hollywood. It happened in real laboratories, respected universities, and in front of ordinary people. These are true, documented stories carried out by scientists who believed they were doing the right thing. Men who claimed to work for progress, for medicine, for the future of humanity. But looking back today, one unavoidable question remains. How far can science go before it becomes something monstrous? What makes all of this even more disturbing is that many of these experiments were not done in secret. They were applauded, funded, and publicly defended. People watched, people consented, people participated. And the deeper you go into this list, the clearer it becomes that the danger wasn't only in the scientists, but in human nature itself. Today, you're going to learn about 6 of the most macabre scientific experiments ever carried out. And I'm warning you now, number 1 is the most frightening of all, precisely because it could happen to any ordinary person, including me, including you. Let's begin with number 6. Number 6. The experiment that made dead bodies move. At the end of the 18th century, science was still trying to understand what separated life from death. It was in this context that Luigi Galvani discovered something deeply unsettling. The muscles of dead animals could still react to electrical impulses. The legs of dead frogs twitched on their own, long after death. It looked like magic, but it was science. The real problem began when his nephew, Giovanni Aldini, decided to bring this discovery to the public. He started performing demonstrations using recently executed human corpses. In front of crowded audiences, Aldini applied electrical shocks to the bodies. Arms lifted abruptly, hands clenched, faces twisted as if in pain. In some moments, the eyes slowly opened. The impact was overwhelming. Some people screamed, believing the dead were coming back to life. Others fainted on the spot. The line between science and horror completely vanished. This was no longer just an experiment. It was collective fear taking shape before everyone's eyes. And if you think humanity learned something from this, the next experiment proves the exact opposite. Number 5. The head transplant in monkeys. In the 1970s, American surgeon Robert White decided to test the absolute limits of modern medicine. He believed the brain was the true essence of human life. To prove this, he carried out an experiment that shocked the scientific world. He transplanted the head of one monkey onto the body of another. The procedure was technically successful. The head survived. The monkey opened its eyes, blinked, reacted to sounds, and recognized people around it. Consciousness was still there, trapped inside a body that no longer responded. The animal survived only a short time, but long enough to prove that the brain could remain alive, separated from its original body. The experiment sparked intense ethical criticism, but it also awakened something far more dangerous, the idea that body replacement could one day be possible. From that moment on, the question stopped being, is this ethical? And became, when will this be done in humans? Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, the limits had already been completely ignored. Number 4. The two-headed dog. During the Cold War, Soviet surgeon Vladimir Demikhov became obsessed with the idea of transplants. He believed he was building the future of medicine. To do that, he performed an experiment that still sounds unreal today. Demikhov grafted the head of a puppy onto the body of an adult dog, creating an animal with 2 living heads. Both heads breathed, reacted to the environment, moved, and even drank milk at the same time. This wasn't a trick, it wasn't staged, it was real. The animal experienced constant pain, confusion, and suffering. Still, the experiment was considered a scientific breakthrough. Demikhov repeated it dozens of times. To him, animal suffering was irrelevant compared to the possibility of saving human lives in the future. But what history remembers is not the progress. It's the disturbing image of a living being turned into a walking experiment. And if that already sounds cruel, the next case goes even further. Number 3.
a dog's head kept alive without a body. In 1928, another Soviet scientist, Sergei Brukhanenko, decided to go beyond anything previously imagined. He wanted to prove that organs could survive independently. To do this, he separated a dog's head from its body and connected it to a machine that replaced the heart and lungs. Against all expectations, the head remained alive. The eyes reacted to light. The tongue moved. When someone touched the snout, there was a response. When food was presented, the mouth attempted to bite. All of this without a body, without natural breathing, without natural circulation. People who witnessed the experiment were in absolute shock. Some saw it as the future of medicine. Others felt a deep fear, as if they were witnessing something that should never exist. That living head became a symbol of how far science can go when it loses all sense of limits. But not all macabre experiments required scalpels, machines, or animals. Number 2, the prison experiment that revealed the worst in human beings. In 1971, psychologist Philip Zimbardo created a fake prison in the basement of Stanford University. Young volunteers were selected and randomly divided into guards and prisoners. At first, everything seemed under control, but within just a few days, the situation completely collapsed. The guards began abusing their power, humiliating, threatening, and psychologically torturing the prisoners. Some forced prisoners to sleep on the floor. Others made them repeat meaningless punishments for hours. The prisoners suffered severe emotional breakdowns, crying fits, extreme anxiety, loss of identity. The most frightening part is that everyone knew it was only an experiment, and yet no one could stop, not even the researcher himself, who began to act like a real prison director. The study had to be terminated early to prevent permanent psychological damage. It proved that when given power, ordinary people can become disturbingly cruel. And now, number 1, the most disturbing experiment of all. Not because it involved bodies or surgery, but because it reveals something deeply uncomfortable about every human being. Number 1, the Milgram obedience experiment. Ordinary people were invited to participate in what they believed was a simple study about learning. They thought they were helping science. Sitting in front of a machine, they received clear instructions. Every time the person in the other room answered incorrectly, an electric shock should be applied. With each mistake, the voltage increased. At first, there were only mild groans. Then came screams of pain, pleas to stop, and eventually, silence. Still, most participants continued, not because they wanted to hurt anyone, but because an authority figure told them to go on. Many left the experiment in shock, believing they had killed someone. Milgram revealed something terrifying. Under orders, ordinary people are capable of extreme acts without questioning them. Evil doesn't always come from intention. Sometimes it comes from obedience. These were 6 of the most macabre scientific experiments ever carried out. And they don't just reveal the failures of science, they expose something far more unsettling about humanity itself. It was because of horrors like these that ethics committees, strict laws, and clear research limits were created, because someone had to go too far to show what happens when there are no limits. If this video made you uncomfortable, reflective, or even shocked, that's a sign. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and stay here, because in the next videos, you'll discover that reality is often far more frightening than any horror movie.